Good morning, children. I am very happy today to start recording videos how to make electronic based science projects. In fact, on 4th of August 2022, I found Bhavyan at Narsapuram. So he's just a second grader. So he gave me the best answers about the drone. So I was well impressed. And then I told him I wanted to give a prize. And he said, I want this music instrument. So that was prepared and made by me a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. So as he's chosen that, and I don't want to disappoint that guy, so I gave it to him. But immediately next day, we have a demonstration at TIPS International School, Rajahmundry. As this particular musical instrument, the piano is not there with us, we could not do that because we have presented that instrument to that small boy, the little boy. So, in fact, that was, named by one of my student, Hansika. So she named it as tiffin box piano because she made it in a tiffin box like this, and then she made it as tiffin box piano. So we used it, for demonstrating few hundreds of schools. And yesterday is the time where we missed it. So today, on 7th of August 2022, in fact, in the morning, so we have decided to make it, but at the same time, this time, I wanted to record while making the entire process so that, students can understand like how we all can make this. So that's why. So today, this is the case we are using it for making that piano. And to make the piano, we are going to keep some switches here so that, by pressing the switches, and you can make different sounds. And there's a connecting cable from the switches to this board, the PCB, printed circuit board. And there are few electronic components. Basically, my dear students, the reason, so in fact, this is all about children's circuit lab, okay? So what we do, we have developed children's circuit lab with a lot of projects like this. Today we are now explaining you how to make about this particular tiffin box piano. So the electronic components required, like few resistors and few capacitors and one integrated circuit IC, 8-pin IC, the 555 IC, timer IC, and there's the IC base here. All these were packed in this particular small plastic cover. But however, there are variable number of different values of resistor also there. I'm going to explain you why we need all these variable resistors. Okay, this is the battery snapper wire for connecting 9-volt battery to this circuit board. Okay, and this is the switch, basically, because we need to on off this music instruments when you are not interested by unnecessarily connecting the 9-volt battery to the circuit board. So that's why there's a power switch here. Okay, so they are the Sarigama Padanisa switches that we are going to fit onto this. So this is the printed circuit board on which you are going to insert all the components, like all the resistors and the IC and the capacitors, and then the switch connections and all the push to on switch bus switches here. And then we are going to solder this. Okay, so with all these components, once you complete, then you will be playing this music. Okay, maybe after another half an hour also. So before we start this project, we need to make some holes and then install all these switches. Okay, so how do we do that? So we are all these things packed by me earlier. Now I'm going to unpack them. Okay, now I'm going to explain you all about switches, because in this project switches play very important role. So one particular switch, my dear students, I'm going to explain you all about SPDT, single pole single throw, SPST. Okay, see, here is one pole, and so the moment you press it on, then whatever power you give it or here, that will come on this point. Okay, so this is single pole single throw. So if you have such kind of pin one more here, then you will call it as single pole double throw. Either you can make it on this way or even that way. So single pole single throw. So this is the one switch which can carry maximum current of 5 amperes. So this I am going to use as a main switch for today's our project. Okay, and also we have many other switches here. Okay, they are just push to on. So this connection, the contact is on only as long as you keep the press on. Okay, if you leave it, that the connections are open. So once again, whenever you wanted to make these connections on, like a calling button, calling bell button. So push to on. So it's not like once you push it and it's on, and once again you push it, it is off. No, it is not like that. It will be on. The connection is closed only as long as it is pressed. If you leave it, the connection is open. So this kind of push to on switches I am using for all our Sarigama buttons to be used for all these connections. Okay, so I'll get back to you after making some holes here on this Tiffin box piano's cover, and then I'll fix all these switches here in a row, and then after fixing all these switches, and I'll again get back to you to show you how I'm soldering all the connections onto this. Okay, so till then just wait for a little more time. So dear students, now I'm going to drill some holes to this particular cover for this Tiffin box. Okay, so I want, before I do all these holes, let me count how many switches I need to install. Okay, so here there are see 4, and there are another 4, so there are 12 switches. Okay, and how many connections I'm going to do, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So there are 12 connections. Okay, so for all these 12 switches, there are all they are there readily. So fine. This is a common pole, and whichever this pole is getting to whichever connection on this, then the sound is going to be proportion to that. So I need to drill holes for all this, and I also need to know what is the diameter of this particular switch. So how do I measure the diameter of the switch? Another most important point. So I think we can measure it with the vernier, because the millimeters of all these specs are given. Basically at this point of time, I want to make you understand how do we measure the outer diameter through the vernier calipers. Okay, so let me take out my vernier calipers from my toolkit. Okay, so this is the vernier calipers. With this vernier calipers, we need to know, yeah, this is 5 mm. Okay, so we need to make a hole of 5 mm here, so that it can properly go there. Okay, so 5 mm hole. And what is the outer diameter of this entire switch? This is 10 mm. Okay, so we have to keep place, like suppose if I wanted to start with, okay, so I'm going to use a marker, not this one, the smaller one, so that you know what happens, I can get a pinpointed mark, because this is, so this kind of marker is going to help me. So what is the length I have here? So suppose say it is totally, I can go say one switch here, and then I have to, yeah, so here it is near about, yeah, 80 mm totally I have. So if I make a hole here for one switch, then I can make another hole here. So 3, 4, 5 are going to be. But I wanted to accommodate 6 of them there and another 6 downstairs. Okay, so that we can place some here, some here. So let me make sure. So how I am going to adjust, that's most important. So how do we adjust all of the 6? So I'm taking one switch here, suppose say. So 10 mm I need. So I want to give 5 mm space between. Otherwise they will be very close to each other. So suppose say if I take exactly here, let us go and assume that one switch is going to be here. So then that is going to occupy, and then next switch is going to be here. So that means in between switch to switch. So now, as we have already marked for 6 switches, and now again we are going to mark for next switches, next 6 of them. So this time what I wanted to do, I wanted to give little more space than those earlier ones. Suppose say here if I take at 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's not sufficient. So if I start from here, then I think I'll be done. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is going very far. So I have to adjust that. So what I am going to do, this is what is important, my dear students, that we need to place them better. So how do I do that? So again, thinking of going in the same way, so I need to adjust the space, okay? Though I have little more, but still I want to make sure, okay? So first thing I am taking here, so one particular here, so first switch, okay? Then after I'll be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going out. So I need to reduce little somewhere like this. So 2 mm, okay? And so that is how I need to equally place them, so that what happens, that they can become in between. So this is how I think we need to adjust in between. See, 4 of them have come, and 5th one has come, and 6th one has come here. So I think this is how we need to adjust the places, okay? So I think this is the right place for the 6th one, okay? So this one I'll go here, and then the 5th one I'm going to make a hole here, okay? So I need to adjust them, then that's going to be wonderful, okay? So this is important, how we are going to place the holes. That's another important point, okay? Okay, 1, and this is 2, and it is going to be 3, and it is going to be 4, and it is going to be the 5th one, okay? So I think now we can start making drills, so that we can. So how do we do the drilling? I think it's better we use this soldering iron itself, because in circular way it can make a hole, because this thickness of this plastic is so less. The thickness of the plastic is so less, so that if I try to make use the drill machine, and then that won't come properly. So I think better I'll use this, basically this one only. So the soldering, I mean, a piece of wood, that will help. Or otherwise, see, this is the iron I have here, but let me see 5 mm where is going to be. So it is, yeah, so till this point if I make a hole, then that's going to be 5 mm, okay? So because that hole diameter should not be more than that. So I think this is the way. Easy, we can make the holes. See, let's see, because this is plastic, no? Actually, I forgot to clean this, so there is some little solder. That's why solder wire is there. So I just brought it back. So why I am making small holes, the 4 mm holes instead of 5 mm holes? The reason behind this is plastic one. So I can file it. So all the 6 have come, and now another 6 more. I can clean them once I make the hole. I can clean them. Okay. So I did it, but I need to clean immediately. Why do I need to clean immediately? So this particular, give me the knife so that I can clean. I need to clean this plastic material very immediately, otherwise that will be sticking onto. So I'm just cleaning this tip so that I can make use of it for next my solderings as well. After this cleaning, okay, so yeah, now I'm using some rough cloth to clean my bit, because I use this solder iron for making the holes. After that, the plastic, I don't want to keep it onto my solder iron at all. That's why I'm cleaning my solder iron but students, don't touch the solder iron. It is too hot now, okay? Because I'm using it from my childhood, so I got good grip onto this. So this is all. So let me again keep my solder wire here so that I can see whether heat is there or not. See, the solder wire is not sticking properly. See, and also all the plastic has come out. So now what I'm going to do, with my knife, I'm going to remove some more plastic from my solder tip of my iron bit. Okay. So let me check this time whether it sticks, the solder wire. Yeah, it is sticking. That's fine. So again, I made my solder iron ready for next soldering and all. Okay. So I kept it back onto solder stand, and now see. So we have holes ready, but I think it is better we clean them properly. How do we clean them properly? I have a student assisting me here, but as he is new, he may not be knowing the names of my tools. So I need a round file. Do you know the round file? What is round file? Do you know? So because the round file. So round file in the sense, this guy doesn't know. He's keep checking. This is flat file. I need round file. If you have, this is flat file. He is giving me this flat file. With this flat file, how I can clean them? So he's keep checking. So check it. We have a flat file. Meanwhile, I have my tweezer. I can try using my tweezer also. Okay, so let me see whether my tweezer can help me. Okay, so up to some extent, even smaller than this. So he gave me finally understand. So what is round file? But the diameter of this round file, I need to check it. If it is more than 5 mm, it is exactly 5.5 mm. So if I use this, then that may make it slightly bigger. So my switches may go loose also. I don't want to allow switches go loose. That's why what I am trying to do, as I am a bit hands-on, so all the time, my assisting student, what he is trying to help me, he is always observing my video, whether it is stopping between or not. So that's good, one thing what he is doing. Okay, so we need to figure out, because we are using one new phone, we don't know, for every 5 minutes it's stopping in between. So you need to monitor that as well. Okay, so after this project record, then we will try to figure out. See, few more plastics are there, So we are trying to remove them also, as they are not coming. So I think I'll use my knife. Okay, so with this knife I try to clean them so that the extra plastics will come. See, here I'm not totally cleaning the whole diameter. Why? Because the round surface is going to help me to hold my switch properly. That's why I'm not trying to clean the round surface created by my solder iron. So that's interesting for me. So that's going to give a little additional support to my switches, right? So I'm not removing that. But however, little extra plastic, whatever is there on the whole diameter, that is what is removed, but not the totally, right? So I just want to clean my workspace because I don't like. Okay, once again. See, now I'm going to test. See whether my switch will go properly or not. See, it's not going. Okay, students, now we are going to prepare switches for the best soldering because connections are very important. So what we did, see, we made required holes for keeping all these switches. So with the vernier caliper, so we also check the hole diameters. What we made is exactly 5 mm. So the 5 mm, the threading will go properly. Okay. So this is how earlier you remember we have tested the diameter of these switches. So here the threading is 5 mm. So in similar way we also made the diameter of the hole exactly 5 mm. So now what exactly I'm going to try, this is called, you can see the difference between these two switches. Here we have added, you see some solder wire here. Here it is not. Okay. So this is called tinning. This process is called adding little solder to the contact point is called tinning. Okay. So we need to tin here. So we made few switches already tinned and we kept them ready for, you see, they're all tinned. So that whenever we wanted to solder a wire on it, easily the wire will get soldered here. So we made few switches tinned and we just kept some of the switches ready for you, make you understand how do we tin them. Okay, that's also important. So as you know, this is a flat file and we can use this flat file to clean the surface. Okay, and so this is how we clean the surface of the contact. Otherwise what happens, while soldering you might keep more heat for longer time and then the heat might go inside the switch and damage the switch contact permanently. So your switch may not work properly. So you need to solder the wire with your soldering iron. The temperature of the tip is not going to be changed. So at the time it is only the time which makes the sense, like for keeping the soldering iron there while soldering the wires and all. So you can solder it faster and remove it if this is properly tinned. If it is not properly tinned, that's it. You have to keep your soldering iron more time to solder the wire properly on the contact at that time. So the heat will go into the switch main contacts and that's it. Your switch might go. So the surface of the contacts are little filed properly. Okay, and now I am trying to file inside also, so that from the both sides the soldering will take properly. So inside also I am trying to clean and I am trying to file them properly. And then you see, now you see the surface, and after this similarly I am going to push it into this particular flux, and keep this switch for some time so that the flux will act onto the contact where I really filed now. So I am doing the same process here for this switch. Okay, so in the center and again turn that and clean Okay, so even this is ready for your tinning. So again I am going to insert into the flux, and the flux is there. Can you give me the new flux? This is the old one. It's a bit. So I'm going to prepare. Yeah. So again, see, this is how we need to tinning. We are preparing the contacts ready for solder so that that's tinned properly. So right from my childhood I am using this quick fix soldering paste, I mean the flux one. So this is a new one, so we need to open this. So how do we open this? I think with a screwdriver, because this has to see. One more screwdriver. See, this is coming out. So this is a, see, soldering paste, I mean a kind of a chemical flux. So this will help, it will act as a, see, I'm keeping them ready for receiving the solder iron, the lead wire. With the heat, the lead is going to be so this is how we need to keep them ready. This is not proper. So due to oxygen, oxidization has taken, more oxidization has taken on this contact. So that has become real bad. So what I'm trying to do, I'm filing it so that I can see the shining of the contact. Okay, and then okay, so almost I kept everyone ready. Okay, so this is the solder wire I have here. So you just check it up. See what's happening. See, this is the way I'm going to tin it. See, I'm taking little solder wire onto, you see, the tinning. So what exactly I'm trying to do? You see, I'm taking little solder wire onto my, and then see, so that I prepared the contact ready for my soldering, I mean to connect, to solder a wire, I mean the connecting wires like this, okay, to the switches earlier. Okay, so whatever switch is ready, which is tinned, I am keeping aside, and in similar I can do either way, this way, or even take a little solder from there and then put it onto this and remove it as fast as possible. Okay, so okay, I'm keeping them ready. I think students, you're all enjoying, my dear tinkers. This is tinkering. So we will do a lot of tinkering from now and then. Okay, so I wish I'll explain you all lot many projects, lot many. like the way I am explaining today, the making process for this tiffin box piano, because the piano circuit we are going to make it in this tiffin box. So as Ansika named it as tiffin box piano, so I just prepared the switches ready. I mean, they are ready, and after that I'm going to keep all the switches on the cover of the tiffin box, as already holes are made. You have seen all those holes. So with little less time, because I cleaned the surface with a flat file and then applied good flux onto that, and I kept them aside for almost 20 seconds to 30 seconds, okay, half a minute to minute, and later I applied heat and then took solder and then soldered. I prepared the contacts ready. I mean the process which I explained you as tinned. They are tinned. The contacts are tinned. Okay, tinned in the sense, I mean the material what is used in the solder wire is tin. So it is tinned. All the contacts are ready. So I'll get back after keeping all the switches onto this tiffin box cover, and then we'll again explain you how to connect the wires and all. That's another process. I'll explain you later. Okay, till then